again, thank you for joining me. I hope you're out there watching. But we are going to be working on this beautiful wedding card. It's using the Wonderful Moments stamp set. And it's a bit of a fancy fold pocket card. And then we're also going to decorate our envelope. So in order to get started today, we're going to need a piece of cardstock that is 5.5 by 11. So 5.5, or yeah, 5.5 by 11. We're coming in 3 3/8 from each side. And then we're going to be left with 4 1/4 by 5.5 in the middle. And I have on my blog post the measurements for that. There's a little diagram, the whole thing. So don't get too confused. You will be pointed in the direction of the blog post to get those the measurements. But we're starting with that. We're also going to have 2 little pieces of paper of the Designer Series paper that are 3 1/4 by 5 3/8. This piece is a 5.5 by 4 1/8 because I want it to have an 1/8 of an inch to slide up and down. And then this would be 4 inches by 5 1/4. I have one of our plain envelopes, and this piece is 2.5 by 6 would work. And then I've got a 3/4 inch. This should be by 4 1/8, but I made it a little bit long. We all know I like to have it hang over and trim off from the back. So I'm going to be doing that. And then you're going to need a paper trimmer in order to get the cut for this card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. And I have exciting news. Those of you that are waiting for our new paper trimmer, Stampin' Up! Is releasing one soon. And I can actually, as a demo, place the order for mine tomorrow. So it's right around the corner for customers, and you'll see mine coming up soon because I'm going to get that ordered. But what I'm doing is I found the midpoint, which was 2 3/4 of an inch, and then to my score line. So I'm going from middle of the side to my score line, and I'm cutting. And I'm just putting that in the track and sliding across, and that's making my triangle on the sides. Nobody's out there watching me? Where are you guys today? I know it's a Monday. If you're out there watching me on replay, please type in replay so I know that you're all out there watching and that there's a purpose for me doing these. So then I'm going to take, I've done the same thing on our Designer Series paper. They were, what did I say, 5 3/8. But then trying to find the middle of that was wonky, so I just kind of folded in half and pinched. And so that's where I'm going to score to. So I'm going to go from the corner to that little thing. And because it's Designer Series paper, it's a little bit thinner. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the middle. And then I'm going to go up and I'm going to go down. If I was to start at the bottom, there's a chance that I could, as the blade comes up to the point, smush that a little bit, and I don't want to. I want a nice clean cut. So in order to do that, I'm starting in the middle. So I'm just sliding my blade up, pushing it down in the middle, going up and going down. So that's going to be one side. I'm going to do the same with the other. Now I have the words going a certain direction. This is the Designer Series paper out of our annual catalog, Floral Essence, I believe. It's the photorealistic flowers, but the words have a certain direction. So as I was doing this, I made a point to pinch one in the middle, or both of them in the middle, so that the words go the right direction. Am I making sense there? I wanted them pointed a dot on either side so that when they get mounted onto the card, my words will stay right side up instead of one side going upside down. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so there's my two sides. And what they're going to do is they're going to go right here. So I do have a little bit of a dot there, and I'm not going to worry about it because it's going to be covered up by the ovals that we're going to put in the middle. So now that we've done that cutting, we're ready to start assembling and stamp. For the ovals, I cut these out using our layering ovals dies. So if you've heard me say lots of times that my circles, ovals, rectangles are basic shapes I use a lot. And so today we're using these. They come in the straight and the scallop. And so I have layered them that way. I have a straight, a scallop, and then a straight. And I'm going to stamp the bride in the middle of the white. And make sure they're good and burnished. And see what I was meaning about they kind of overlap? And so those are going to be covered up by the ovals. So now we can go ahead and put this on. Oh, it looks like I have one person out there watching me. Usually I have a lot more. Today must be a Monday, huh? And almost the first of the month, so. I appreciate you for being out there watching me, even those on the replay. And on YouTube. I am converting all of these to YouTube. I had some issues with my software a while back, and I wasn't able to do any editing, but I have purchased some new software editing, and I'm able to convert these to YouTube. So now all of my Facebook Lives are going to start appearing on YouTube, which means that I can put them into my blog posts as well. So you'll be able to see the photos and the video of how the cards are made. So now that I have the designer series paper on, I'm going to just put some glue there, and I'm going to put the two of them together. Making sure that it's just on the front pieces because I don't want the card, gluing to the inside because it's a pocket. We want it to be able to slide up and down. So here's the part we're going to be sliding, and I'm going to remember to put this on first. Oh, let's stamp actually. So let's come with this. Congratulations. So I'm lining this up on my grid paper so that I know that my words are straight. Then aligning the side of my block with another piece of the grid paper and picking it up. I'm going to do this in Mary Merlot, which is the color cardstock I'm using for the base. Now, because this is a deep dark red, right away I want to be sure to clean it off. And so I'm going to bring this over to my Stampin' scrub, but that's only going to get off part of it. It's still pretty pink. You can probably see that. So it's very pink on there. The reds tend to stain the stamps. So that's where the stamp cleaning pad comes in. This is a new product by Stampin' Up! That gets a little bit overlooked in the catalog. But I can take this and rub it on my photopolymer stamps after I've cleaned them with the Stampin' scrub, and it removes almost all of the ink. So now it's no longer stained pink. So you might want to add one of those to your wish list. They are super fun. I'm one of those that gets a little bit wigged out when things are stained. I don't like that. Again, I'm making sure my words are right side up. Doing it with liquid glue so I can wiggle it around and make sure that I'm flush up to the top and even. And then I'm going to come back from the back side and just trim off the excess. This is my way of making sure that I don't cut it too short. But then I can mount it onto here. Again, I'm using the liquid glue because I only have 1/8 of an inch difference between the two. I'm going to have a little tiny border, and there's not as much forgiveness the smaller you make the border. So this lets me wiggle it around and get it centered. Okay, then I want to be able to pull it out of the pocket. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch a little tiny hole. This is 1/8 of an inch hole punch, and then feed some ribbon through it so we have something to grab onto. So we'll grab our ribbon. And the tiny hole punch. Hi Amy, thank you for joining me. I so appreciate you guys for popping on and watching what I have to show you today. I hope you liked today's card. I know you've missed the front of it, but it's easy to catch on replay. We're just doing a wedding pocket card. And in order to pull the card out of the pocket, I'm going to feed some ribbon through the hole. This is the Take Your Pick tool. It comes in very handy for lots of different things. There we go. So there's our little tab to pull. Okay, so now that'll slide down inside. So now we're going to work on the element on the front, and so I'm going to do that by stamping in Smoky Slate. I'm going to stamp our bride onto this piece. I'm just putting some scrap paper under here because normally that's what this is for, but I'm trying to keep it pretty for you guys. You know, give the illusion that my craft room is actually neat. Okay, so there's our bride. And then I'm going to color her in for her hair and her skin and flowers with the Stampin' blends. So this is the light Rococo Rose. We'll use the light and dark soft suede for her hair, and we'll use ivory for her skin. After I'm done with you guys today, I get to take our little dog to the vet. Some of you have seen that Pixie broke her leg, and she's had it strapped up to her body as it's healing, and hopefully today she gets to get that taken off. So wish us luck at the vet this afternoon as we work on that. She's been a real trooper, but it's hard to keep a 4-month-old puppy down. They said, don't let her run. Yeah, good luck with that. Okay, because I'm using the two colors, I'm doing little circles where they overlap to help blend it in and not have that harsh edge. Also, if you wanted to give it a little bit of a lift or more highlights, you can use the color lifter and just, you know, dab it in there a little bit. Now you'll notice on here I have sparkles. Now you can do this a couple different ways. You can do it with the Dazzling Diamonds glitter. You can do it with the Wink of Stella. This was actually done using the new embossing powder, the new Glimmer White or Shimmer White, really little letters. I had my Stampin' blend, but one of the things you can do to apply it on there is you can choose to purchase a Versamark or Versamarker pen, and what this is our Versamark ink that just draws onto there in the form of a pen. You can also take the Versamark re-inker and you can dab the tip of a blender pen into this and use that on here as well. So I've, somewhere around here, I have a used, or dried up blender pen that I have filled with the Versamark ink, and you can use that as well. But the idea is that you just want to draw onto the cardstock where you want the glitter to fall. And so I'm not doing it everywhere, I'm just kind of doing streaks. And then I'm going to come in with my scrap paper and generously pour that on there. And tap off the excess. I think I want a little more on her bodice. There we go, I like that better. And then we'll just heat this with the heat tool. And what this is this is our regular white embossing powder, but it has glitter built into it. So it's going to give her dress some real shine to it. Okay, so there we have it. Now we're ready to layer these together and put it onto our card. Okay, so now we're ready to put it on the card. Now again, we want to make sure we know that there's no cardstock behind the top of the oval and no cardstock behind the bottom. And so we want to make sure that all our adhesive is straight across the middle. And I'm going to give this a generous amount. I might even, have used tear and tape on the other one because I know it's going to get a little bit of movement and I want a really strong grip. And when we're using snail or tear and tape, if we want to make sure it's really getting a good stick, is we turn it over and from the back side rub with the bone folder, and that'll ensure that it's good and stuck. There we go. So there's our wedding card. And then for the envelope, like I said, I decorated the flap to match. And I did that by having an extra piece of the designer series paper. And then we're going to put glue on the back of all of this. We're going to set down the designer series paper. And we would actually line it up this way so that it's, I'm not actually going to glue this piece because I have a piece cut where the words go the right way. But you would glue that down and then you would come on the back side and trim off any excess, and then that gives you your decorated envelope flap. So there's today's card. A bit of a fancy fold, but still done in less than half an hour. So I hope that inspires you to step out of the standard fold for a little bit and try something new. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you next Monday. Thanks.